Now that we have our inspiration board or brand board, we can start to sketch out those concepts for our logo design, which will be our main focal point for our personal branding project. Since you already defined your target market and created your inspiration board, sketching out ideas for a logo and picking out our colors and fonts will go a lot quicker now that we have a basis of who we're designing for. There are many directions we can go in with our logo design. This class will focus more on the branding aspect and less on the technical steps we need to go through using software. I have many classes that focuses solely on logo design and software like Adobe Illustrator, and even free cloud-based programs like Canva if you wanted to get into the technical side of do-it-yourself logo design and branding. First, we want to sketch out our concepts and ideas on paper or a digital sketching app before we make it a reality. There's many of you out there that may not have any graphic design background or experience, and you may prefer hiring a designer to turn your concept into a real vector usable logo design. Perhaps you're an illustrator or a photographer or a web developer and design is not your strong suit. Hiring another freelancer or designer can be an overwhelming task. So I created this downloadable guide that gives you a lot of tips and tricks on places to start searching for a designer or freelancer, and also what to look out for when doing so. For those who are graphic designers, this can be helpful to look at too, as it gives you some great insight into what other small business owners are looking for in great designers. If you decide to hire another designer to create your logo or branded assets, make sure you send them some work we have done prior, including your mission statement, your target audience, sketches, inspiration boards or brand boards. Those will be very helpful to the designer that will be helping you craft your personal brand. So let's sketch out some rough ideas on paper. I'm going to be using a digital sketching app called Procreate, which you can use with your Apple iPad and Apple Pencil for this demonstration. While you're sketching out ideas, think about your target audience along the way. Are you targeting a high-end clientele? If so, that might change the look and feel of your logo. Would your target audience appreciate a detailed illustrative style? Also, be thinking about the different type of logo styles when you're sketching. Some of you may want to leave this up to a professional designer or try a hand at this yourself. If I have a few downloadable resources, one is called the Logo Types and Styles Cheat Sheet, which goes over some of the basic logo design types. Personal branding for freelancers is a bit different than branding for a company, as I talked about before. First of all, personal branding is, well, it's very personal. It's about you and your unique style and what you're going to bring to the market. I find the best freelancer logos put the freelancer's style on full display, and you can echo similar colors you use in your work, like we just derived from our brand board in the lesson prior. Branding and logo design for companies tend to focus on the product or service. In a personal freelance branding, we want to focus on yourself and your personality. Remember that being authentic and true to your own unique style sells yourself better to the right clients. Remember how finding the right clients is kind of like dating? We want to make sure we represent ourselves to the client in the most accurate way possible. And the style you choose for your logo design and the layout is a great way to show that style. So what about names? Freelancers can either stick to their personal names, so in my case, Lindsay Marsh, or they can create a freelancer company name. I recommend using your personal name if you plan on remaining independent with your client work or projects. That means you work mostly with yourself and working in collaboration with others, but not really function as a growing company or agency, for example. I would recommend using a company name, or not your personal name, for those who want to eventually grow into a multi-employee company down the road. Look back at your freelancing goals that you established earlier. Maybe these can help you decide what might be best for you. The great thing about sticking to your name at first is building up name recognition. For our case with Lillian, we could be sticking with our personal name for now. You can also include your official title as part of your logo that can make sure you clearly communicate what services you provide. For example, as a web designer, making sure that is clearly communicated with text below. It could be a symbol, an icon, a tagline, some way to tell the viewer what you do in your logo. You may even provide multiple services like web design and photography, and being able to communicate through that in your logo through a type or a tagline is critical in showing a client right away who you are and the kind of services you can provide for them. It's not required, but it's a nice inclusion and a strong logo design for freelancers. When sketching out your ideas, find icons, symbols, illustrations that can represent what you do and help brainstorm concepts. For example, it could be the pen tool in Adobe Illustrator for a graphic designer, for example. This is a tool that she uses every day in her profession, and so it makes a lot of sense in including it in her logo, just for an example. Do not overdo it on brainstorming. For those of you who are wanting to go as far as possible creating your own logo and branding, try coming up with 3 viable concepts you want to develop further using vector software. Every logo needs to eventually be created in vector format. There are many great vector programs like Affinity Designer, which is a cheaper version, or if you have the Adobe Creative Suite, Adobe Illustrator. You may also want to hire a graphic designer to take on your rough sketches and create that vector format for you. Affinity Designer is that cheaper solution and only costs around $50, just a one-time fee for those wanting to give this a try on their own and not hire a graphic designer. You can even put together a logo using Canva, which is a cloud-based free design tool that allows you to put together simple logos, although it is a little bit limited. So now that we were able to sketch out 3 different ideas and concepts, I'm going to go a step further and make these a reality in vector format in Adobe Illustrator.